Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Bacon and this is Talking Times. Guys, honestly, today my voice is really not that great, so I'm gonna make short questions and hope that Lethícia here gives me long answers. But thank you so much for being here. Luckily enough, we have a very interesting topic. I guess we will need more time to talk about that. You're gonna love her. And roll the intro. Hello, Lethícia, welcome.
Hello, thanks.
Please try not to make me laugh today, okay?
Okay.
Because I'm a little hoarse, When I say this, guys, hoarse is like sore throat, okay? Not like nothing like that. This is exactly the type of thing that I can do today. Before we start, Lethícia, please introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Lethícia, as you already know. I'm a teacher. Maybe sometimes I'm a translator, and sometimes I'm a writer, and I'm maybe just a little bit like a musician.
Nice. So, besides teaching, you wrote the book Just Talk.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thanks.
How was the experience for you?
Was really challenge, but Marcel helped me a lot, and we had a lot of ideas. Claudio helped me a lot too, and we talked about it. I've learned a lot, about English vocabulary, especially vocabulary, because I think when you write, when you start searching for things, especially searching, because before writing I never get into like searching a lot. I was just wrote things that I was in my mind, but he helped me a lot about searching, and this was a really good experience.
Being a person that loves reading, did it help you, or it was more like a critical thing? Because I wrote a book too. And I remember when I was doing that, I read the chapter that I had, like the draft, and this sucks. Like I always thought like the reader, Did you have anything like that in the process?
Of course, all the time. When we start writing things, it's basically like you are always make kind of sabotage yourself, It's just like I don't need no help. I can sabotage me by myself. It's just like this, because you write things, and then after you write, you just put, oh my god, this is a piece of shit, I can do it, and you just throw away.
Good thing you had other people involved, because Marcel, he has the corrector's shotgun there.
Yeah, of course.
If you don't know what's that, hello Marcel, hi. I hope you are watching us. It's the best person to help you finding something wrong.
Yeah.
Like he looks at something and say, oh, there is an extra space there.
Yeah.
He helped me a lot when I was creating classes. The time I was in Cambuí. What would you say, Lethícia, was the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge for me was like having ideas, sometimes people normally like to be in a quiet space to concentrate, to focus, but I like some crowded space in my mind to create things. So when I'm creating classes, I normally put some podcasts like about true crime, for example. I love listening to that. So normally I'm listening to lots of sounds at the same time, and then I have an idea. Oh my god, I have an idea. So I can use some parts of the songs to create the classes. So it helped me a lot, but it was hard to create.
Yeah, and what was the process? You were doing this like here in the franchising? Okay, because I said what helped me at the time was I would start around 9 or 10 p.m. I got a glass of whiskey, put like a nice playlist, normally movie soundtracks, and I said, okay, I will write about this topic now that I have been studying for some months, and then I would go, and I try to do something like this. I will first write the chapters, and they will all be independent from one another. So I will not be stuck in like, oh, I wrote about this, now the next thing I have to write is that. You were writing about several topics about conversation, like traveling, routine, right?
Routine, money, parts of the house, things like this.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Just Talk is the book we use here for our conversations, you know? Okay, when you're not working, when you're not studying, what do you like to do for fun, Lethícia?
Normally, I like reading. Watching series is my passion, you know, so... sometimes I can write some songs in my mind, I just sit down on my couch with my cat, so we start playing, and then I look at my cat, oh, this is good, and he just, oh, meow, and I say, oh, this is not
okay.
good, so we just move on, you know, so, and I think the most part of the time I'm always like, watching something. I'm always watching and I'm always reading something.
This helps us to get references too, right?
Of course.
You said you write songs, but like in your head, but never on the paper. Like, are you a composer too, or something?
Just sometimes. It's been a long time since I don't like write, compose any songs. But I always like create songs to my cats, like.
What are the lyrics about? Whiskers.
Sometimes I sing songs for my cat Tarantino because he's a gay
amazing
cat.
Name for a cat.
He's a gay cat, so I sing like a kind of a Spider-Man song, but in the rhythm
cat.
But it's just like gay cat in this kind of thing, and he loves it. So.
Do you live in a house or apartment? Oh, your neighbors love you. Definitely.
They love me, but
because they can look what is happening there.
Yeah, and they think that we have kids in our house, in our apartment. They say, "Oh, how was your kids?" And I said, "Oh, we don't have kids. We have 4 cats, just 4 cats."
So you make like cat lullabies? No way.
Yeah. They think that they have their own room in our house, but they cannot go in there. So because they have the cat's food there, so we just close. But I have one cat that she can open the door. Damn. So sometimes when I wake up, I see lots of cat food on the ground. And
are you afraid of ghosts or supernatural stuff?
Not anymore.
Okay.
Not anymore.
The cats help with that.
Yeah. Sometimes they just start running around.
You start listening crazy stuff like, whoa. There's somebody cursing in Latin. Oh, it's probably just a cat.
Yeah,
don't worry.
just the fucking cat, so we don't even care.
Okay, you mentioned books. Do you have a favorite genre of books, or if the story is good or the topic's good, you just go and read it?
It depends. Fantasy, I'm a little bit sick of it because we have a lot of Harry Potter and this kind of stuff.
No, don't talk bad about Harry Potter.
But I love Harry Potter. I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan. But after that, I think that I got a little bit sick. So I just like more dystopian books, just like the Handmaid's Tale, and I love books about crimes. I've been reading. What's her name? C.J. Tudor. She's a Britain writer, and she's new. She wrote O Homem de Giz. I don't know if you know this book. And I bought all her books and I read all.
One that maybe you have read. I want to read this Crime and Punishment from the Russian writer Fyodor. I never know how to pronounce his last name. Dostoevsky.
Yeah,
Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Yeah.
People recommended me this book. They say the plot is really interesting.
I've never read this one. I wanted to buy just in the past, but nowadays I'm really thinking about it, because I'm a little bit lost. I'm Gemini, so I have some phases, sometimes I'm like interesting for me. Sometimes I'm just like playing songs like for 1 month, and then I start reading like a crazy woman, and then I just pass the time like just looking at the wall. So it depends,
And how is your reading time? Because last week I mentioned I like reading with a soundtrack that fits the book. Some people prefer to be very quiet, just, I go in front of my house or by the window, open the book and I read. Relaxing. I put like some soundtrack that fits the book, and then I just go whatever I can be and read it.
I just read with some soundtrack. I bought a headphone, just a big one, and then I just sit down in my bed and start reading. So I think it's the best thing. And my fiance, she says, "Oh, this is impossible. How can you read? Like listen to to a song, like a random song?" I said, "No, it's calm my mind,
True. Yeah.
So
surprisingly, it helped me to focus too, because it's like the soundtrack goes to the back of your head, and it literally feels like the soundtrack of the book, like you're watching a movie. You don't get distracted because the movie has a soundtrack. It's kind of it's like a harmony thing.
Yeah, you can separate the song
exactly
from the book. So it's a kind of thing that I'm talking to my therapist. So, but it's normal. It's okay.
It's nice. It's nice. Well, I have a book to recommend to you then. That's why I ask what type of books do you read. You also like pets, animals in general, right?
A lot.
Have you read the street cat named Bob?
No.
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's a real life story. Okay, this is in the summary of the book. Okay, so it's not a spoiler.
Okay.
James Bowen is a real guy. You can find him on Facebook. He was a drug addict from Australia, and he moved to London. His dream was to be like a rock star. So he became a homeless person and addicted to all types of drugs that you can think, like meth, cocaine, crack. He was being supported by one of those government health systems that you can go to a house and you do like a detox. He was in this process after an overdose. Eventually, there was this hurt cat in front of his house. He said, well, probably fought with a fox or whatever. He barely got any money because he used to make the daily money by playing guitar on the subway there. Then he bought some food, helped the cat with the little money that he had. The cat never left his side. And the beautiful thing about this story is a real one. And he describes that the cat used to be on his shoulder all the time. When you can see the videos on YouTube, it's beautiful. But something that he says that is like before the Bob, that's the name of the cat, I was like invisible to people on the street. I was like a ghost. People would kind of dodge at me or pretend that I don't exist. After Bob, like an animal made people see me as a human being. Like they started to look at me like, oh, can I pet him? Oh, what's the name of the dog? The dog, the cat. And you cry in a few pages. Okay, so I highly recommend a street cat named Bob.
Okay.
The movie is nice too. Okay, there is a movie. But the book is amazing.
When you were describing the cat, I just remember the Billie Eilish song, sing by the voice of a cat.
I have never heard. I have.
You've never heard? It's
I will put Billie Eilish cat song.
Yeah, the Billie Eilish. It's the song about the Barbies movie. Have you ever heard the songs?
No.
They say meow 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 meow. So
Oh, the lyrics are like that.
No, it's not the real song, but it's a kind of meme that people made.
Okay.
And you can watch lots of videos with cats made by AI, like sad cats with this song.
Okay, I will definitely look at it. Okay, all right. Well, let's go in one of the topic here. The Handmaid's Tale, right? You brought the books, which I loved. Okay.
Yeah.
Something right away. There was a surprise for me. I know, guys, I sound like one of those elementary school teachers that have been smoking Derby cigarette for like 20 years.
Yeah.
Bear with me. But it is only 2 books, and actually the first one is the major material for the series, right? Okay. We're not gonna go right now which one is better, but Why should people read this? What would be your way to recommend that?
Okay, this is a
PG-13 recommendation.
Okay, let's see. I especially recommend it to women to read this because it's more about us.
Okay.
You know. And for me, it's a book where I felt a kind of represented that by the main character, which is June. So it's a thing that you can see the women's vision about the world, what happened.
The writer is also a woman.
The writer, she is her name is Margaret Atwood, that we can see there. So she's a really old lady. So and when she wrote the book was in 1976.
That's interesting because in a way it's kind of like a timeless story.
Yeah, of course it's you can. One thing that made me feel afraid about this book is because it's so real. It's things that are happening nowadays. Was in the book, like from 1976.
Damn. So one thing that we talked a little bit before is like, this is kind of a disclaimer. There are a lot of shocking events in this story, right?
Course.
That people could have some triggers or feel disgusted or afraid. But the way that happens in the book, it has a strong purpose, right? Like to make people aware, and this makes all the difference.
Of course, because the way that she describes the scenes in the books is not like a vision from someone who was like outside. It's the June's vision. You know,
okay, it's a first-person narrative.
It's a first-person narrative. This is the only thing that I like about books is I just read books with the first-person narrative. I don't like the second. I just like the first because I think that I feel close to the character.
It's like you are in the person's head.
Yeah, this is one thing that I love about reading. So when we see June, we see all the things that she was going through in the series, in the books. You feel like represented as a woman, and you feel that we have to fight against that because I think that it's not just about politician and religions. It's not just about this. It's things that are really happening in our world. It's about the things how people see us, the women's body. You know.
One thing that I got the impression right away from the first episodes, especially the first, is the thing that you dehumanize a person, like becomes just like, oh, this mug here, something like that.
Yeah, this is what happened to her. Like when they just kidnap the women, you became a handmaid. So you belong to a man, the commander. So this commander, it's like her commander was his name was Fred. So you just lose your name. Her name was Fred, like of Fred.
Like a possession of.
Yeah, possession of Fred. So her name was Alfred. Every headman had this kind of name. So we have the of Robin. We have all of them. So
okay. In the book context, what is a handmaid there?
A handman is just I'm saying in a really bad way, but we become just a woman's body. Just a woman's body. You
like
are
a baby maker in a way.
Yeah, just a baby maker. You became a machine. You become a machine. So you have to give birth. So there are, unfortunately, they have lots of rapes there. So if you want to watch it or read it, you have to be prepared. You have to think before starting going through this world, because it's for me it's sad, but it's wonderful for me, and it opened my mind to think about the context. So the handmaids, you have to wear that clothes that we have there. So the red one, which represents fertility. So you have this.
You have
this
semiotics there as
well.
well.
Yeah, we have. So all of them. So we have the ants, we have the handmaids, you have the commander, we have the wife, the wife's commander. We have lots of them. So we have the person who works in your house, which she doesn't have a name anymore. So you have the aunt who takes care of the handmaids. So we have the Aunt Lydia, which is the main character, the main aunt there. So it's really interesting to look for it.
You mentioned something here about they become just like a property. And you can see a lot of shocking stuff in this story. But it is interesting, for example, one filter that I have about books and movies, people sometimes ask me, how can you tell a book or a movie, a story in general, is good? I say, well, it can be, and I'm not joking, I'm not trolling, it can be from Transformers to, I don't know, The Godfather or whatever classic you want to think about, Titanic, whatever movie. It has to cause me strong emotions. So if I'm watching an action movie that has the laziest script ever, like people doing this and explosions and blah blah blah, if the story is good to the point that I feel excited, like, oh my god, yeah, I will say, this movie is good for this genre. If it's a drama and it's gonna talk about a touchy subject, I'm gonna feel uncomfortable. I'm gonna have this mix of emotions, maybe cry or feel very angry. I imagine this is gonna happen. Like there were stories that I was watching or reading that I really got anger, like the thing was happening in real life, like to the point of punching a fictional character, like, oh my god, it's like the archetype of something that I hate and stuff like that. If it's a comedy, I want to laugh my ass off, what are the strong emotions that people will feel in this story? Or which ones you felt right away?
I felt more like
disgust, right?
Disgust, most part. So and the most thing that I felt is like I felt angry about the society. I start to like question myself, like what the fuck is happening to us. Like if you watch the series, especially the series,
is more intense than the books.
So much more intense.
And this is crazy, Lethícia, because normally every time we can talk series or books, because every time The Last of Mohicans, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, whatever story you think about, they always say, the Anne Rice, the Interview with the Vampire, Bram Stoker's Dracula. The movie is nice, but the book is better. In this case, it's not quite, right?
It's one thing that I've learned in the university. We have to separate
the medias,
the books from the series, from the movies. It's totally different because imagine we have the Handmaid's Tale. We have the first book. The series, the first season is just the first book. But what about the rest of them? Because the thing that happens is that after the first book, the writer should decide to write the second one, which is just 16 years after that. So what about the series? Like,
you cannot just have a gigantic time skip, right?
Yeah, this is strange, and that's why they have to build a huge story around this. So all the things that are happening in the Handmaid's Tale, they will just are building to create the Testament, which is a series that they're going to put on there like after in 2 years or more, or 5 maybe. And especially Bruce Miller, which is the showrunner, he went out of the Handmaid's Tale to start creating the Testament.
Interesting.
So this is a good point, is that in this case we have to separate this. because in the books, if you want to have a good experience, like just to start looking forward about the world, about what's happening, it's a good point, it's good. But if you want to really have a good immersion, so like look around, you have to watch the series.
Okay.
Because the actress, she's really good.
What's her name again?
Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth Moss, okay.
She's like, for me, like, she's the best ones. Everybody who knows me, like, everybody who knows me, they know that I love her. I watch, like, The Invisible Man, the last movie. She was the main character, so, and I'm kind of suspicious to talk about her, so, but all the things are good. They have in the symmetric, all the series, it's built in a symmetric way, which makes me feel like really like I'm in peace with this series, because
nice.
We can see women, like women's revenge, we can see lots of things there.
This is something that there are many shows that the protagonist, like, he goes or she goes through a very hard time, and then say, oh my god, the author is sadistic, that's impossible. But when you have a moment of revenge, I'll give a silly example, okay? You like pets, so you won't like this, but John Wick, for example, the guy is in peace. He is like, do you know the story?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Whoever doesn't is like, the guy's in peace. He's a former assassin, and this Russian shithead mob guy just goes there out of nowhere and beats him up and kills his dog. And you hear that. I cannot make the sound, I forgot. Anyways, the rest of the movie is the guy slowly killing everybody related to the killing of the dog. It's an amazing feeling. I imagine you feel the same.
I would do the same if they kill my cats.
Yeah, so I imagine, like, if they're watching the show and it's getting heavy, like women being abused, and the moment they turn the tables and the guys start to get the payback is probably like, finally.
One thing that I really enjoy about the series is that when the revenge, it doesn't happen like just in the end of the last episode. It starts in the beginning, like in the first episode you can see like she's really like
plotting something.
Yeah, she's preparing something. She's always watching things, and she talks with the right person.
Okay.
She starts talking, building some friendship with the other handmaids. So this is a good thing because it started in the first episode. We can see the revenge there.
Something that I imagine happens. I don't remember because, like I told you, I watched at the beginning of the show, and the platform I was using, I couldn't use anymore. Hard. But if you are part of an oppressed group, one of the easiest techniques that you can use to kind of end any type of revenge or rival, you split this group in small groups. So that's not what happens, like they start to get united, right? Like,
yeah,
they're all getting fucked here, so we should do something together.
Yeah, and one thing that you just don't expect it about a man in the series, that a man helping out a woman there, and it really happened there, and I was like, okay, he just did the only thing that he would do like a human being, not just like a man.
He did the ethical thing.
Yeah, just the ethical, and was good. He was wrong, but right at the same time. You can hate and love him at the same time, but you can see him just in the third season, I guess.
Okay.
I don't remember his name, but he was a good one there. I love and hate him at the same time. I'm gonna see
the best type of character.
Yeah, this is one thing that happened, and I'm gonna see this in the next season, that I think it's in 2 years or 1 year. Maybe.
Okay, so before I go to the chat, guys, two things. One for you to think and one for them.
Okay.
I want you to recommend books. Which book that you have read recently, put in the chat here, that caused an impact on you, okay? And why? And for you, Lethícia, I'm gonna read the comments, but what for you makes a good character? Like you are reading a story and, oh, this character has these characteristics. Now I'm gonna follow through the story because of that. It's something that I like. Okay. Now, all right. Hello, guys. Times Jomas here. Hi, Marcel, Ricardo. Hello, Simone. Hello, Eric.
Oh, Simone is here.
Yeah, Simone is from Times Your Jeans. Shout out to you. Okay. Ricardo says here, go Lethícia, go.
Oh, he's one of the teachers.
Nice. Okay. How do you discover this series and why is it important for you? Okay, a question from Eric, Lethícia.
Eric, okay, it's his fault, you know.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
You were responsible for that.
Yeah, he's really the responsible one because actually I never heard about this series before, and we were in the last year of our graduation in the college, and we started talking, and I didn't have a group for the final project, and they just, oh, you are in our group, and I said, yeah, really? And they said, yeah, and I said, he's my best friend, but I wasn't thinking about making this project with him, but yeah,
it happened.
Yeah, it happens. And then he said, oh, it's about the Handmaid's Tale, and I was like, what the fuck is this? I've never. Oh, you have to watch it, you know. I said, I don't know if I really want it. Oh, you have. The point is, we wanted to write our project about adaptation. The series for the book from the movies, and one day, like a long time ago, in the middle of our vacation, we were me and Eric, just us, we were in my apartment, and we were drinking some wine and talking and laughing and listening to Aurora because he's a big fan too.
Oh, I love Aurora.
Yeah.
If you don't know Aurora, Norwegian singer, right?
She's really good,
she's
right?
amazing. Yeah.
And we were like listening to music and drinking some wine. We were drinking Cantinho do Vale. The best wine
Last
ever.
week we were talking about fancy wine, you know, and books. Now we are gonna talk about
Cantinho do Vale, which we have the plastic bottom, which is
yeah, exactly what he said. You read my mind. Marcel is watching us, Lethícia, so you were drinking Little Corner of the Valley.
I like this. Okay. So we were talking, and he said, oh, this series we have a lot of discourse there, so what can we talk about? And so, what about making our project about the discourse analysis? And I was, and we just sent in the group with the other people, other friends, and they said, oh, we're going to make about the discourse analysis, and people said, we already started to making this. Okay, just erase this and we start another one, and we did it in 3 months.
Damn.
So I don't know how we did it, but it worked. It really worked. And he just presented me the series, and I bought the book. I am the only person from our group who really read the book. This is one thing that I have to tell them.
Shame on you guys.
Okay, so we have Caroline, Beatriz, and Eric. I was the only one who read the book before them.
So get some Little Corner of the Valley, some free time, and read the damn book.
Yeah, I was the first person, and then I just got into this universe, and I was like, I'm really obsessed with this.
Yeah, I don't know if this was the reason, but you said that when you're reading the book, you have the first person narrative there. But interesting enough, you said that Elizabeth Moss.
Elizabeth Moss.
Moth. Like Elizabeth Moss. That my mind is like these jokes all the time. Damn. It sounds like the shopkeepers. This is Elizabeth Moth. The whole story is how she flies around the light.
Very good.
Okay, I'll stop. I almost got sidetracked. but you told me that she's a great actress. So doing this type of adaptation is hard to convey the same feeling the reader has, because one thing is you are inside the character's head, so you literally know, like, I am feeling this, I was feeling that. So I guess in the series she can convey the same emotion, the same thoughts.
Actually, her emotion was like stronger than the main character from the books. This is one thing that I noticed, that because when I read the book, I was talking to Eric in that age, and he said, "Oh, this is impossible." And I said, "You didn't read this, so you cannot talk shit about this. So let me finish." So I was like reading, and I said, "Oh, this is so soft, was strong." Okay, so it's really like you can not even notice if you just watch the series, like her emotion, the even the color of her eyes, I don't know, I think maybe changes during the series, so I just love it.
Nice. So what makes a good character for you in a book or in a show?
Anger.
You like angry character, like like a rebel feeling, in a way.
Yeah, I like this kind of character. So one of my favorite characters since I was like a teenager, I really this is one thing that
If you say Vegeta from Dragon Ball, I'm gonna.
I can't talk about it.
Okay, good. Because you said anger, I imagine it's deeper than that.
It's just like it's not that I like depressive people, but I like this kind of emotion, like this intensity that we have. Like the book that I used to love when I was a teenager was like Looking for Alaska from John Green. I know that it's a really teenager thing, but I really love it. And Alaska for me was the best character, and I fell in love into her, so I just cry a lot in the...
What's the story about?
Oh, she was depressive, and we don't know if she killed herself or if she died in a car accident.
You don't know.
We just don't know.
But wait, she's like a ghost telling this story?
No. She was like real.
Okay.
So I think it's in the middle of the book. My fiance will correct me because she finished the book and I didn't. I didn't because I was so shocked.
Oh, not judging.
It's my trauma. This is the only book that I haven't finished besides Game of Thrones because it was like boring.
Game of Thrones. Let's not go there. Okay, well, we can go there if there are any Game of Thrones. Sorry, go on.
Okay, but in the middle of the book, she just died, and you don't know what happened, how it happened. But I like her personality, even it's a little bit toxic, but I like it. And maybe I have to talk to my therapist, but it's okay.
But you are very spontaneous, but I will never call you toxic for whatever reason. And in this type of stories, I guess. I don't know if the authors do this intentionally, but we have this type of relation with characters. I don't know if you agree with this, but one is we admire them like an archetype of I would love to be like this or to do this, and if you inspire them. And the other is like, oh my god, I am like this, I hope he doesn't screw up this story. And then and sometimes it's even a characteristic that you are a little bit embarrassed of having. And if the character has, you feel a little represented and say, oh my god, let's see if this story reflects anything that has happened or could happen with me. And then,
There is actually one character from one book that I love it. It's my favorite top one. I read this book when I was 16 years old. I was being through kind of, when you are 16, you are just who am I? Who the fuck am I? I love Foo Fighters, but I love Paramore. I love Nirvana, but I hate Satanism. So you're passing through this time. So I read The Perks of Being Wallflower. So
say that again, please.
The Perks of Being Wallflower. Yeah, it's a Wallflower. So it's a really good one, and I really identify myself in Charlie. I see myself in Charlie. He was depressive, but this part we just ignore this, but just and he was passing through some kind of things about the difficulties about making friends, about talking to people. So I really see myself on him, and the movie, the adaptation was really good, especially about the soundtrack, because we have David Bowie, we have
Nice.
a lot of good songs. So,
Okay, I will watch the movie.
yeah, we have Emma Watson there, so
She's great.
we have Ezra Miller, but just
Okay.
no problem.
I love characters that have flaws. You know, I hate when people make a character and everything they do is perfect, because it's like it gets, and people think it's a little sadistic sometimes. But can you imagine a story where it's like this family having breakfast together? I'm not talking about Breaking Bad, okay? And definitely not. And everybody's happy, and they have a sequence of normal days, and that's it. It's not interesting. We want to see the drama, the tragedy, you know, the agony and the revenge. Oh, this terrible thing has happened to this character, so let's see how the character is gonna revenge. And then you have these authors that, oh, there's no revenge, the person is here just to suffer. And then say, well, why would you write a story like that? And then, oh, don't do the same things the person has done. And then you know. So it's a mix of emotions. I'm telling this just to ask you, what's the name of the main character in The Handmaid's Tale?
June.
Okay, does
June Osborne.
Jude, does she have flaws?
I can't tell you. You have to watch it.
Okay, that's a good
watch it.
teaser. Damn, you got me. Okay.
You have to watch it, because she's not there just to suffer. She has this kind of anger inside her. She wants to revenge. We already know this.
Okay.
But it's more than this. It's more than that. It's more than revenge. It's more than just talk about, oh, we are women, we have to take care of each other. It's so much more. It's about the society, the whole context that we have.
It's like changing a system that dehumanizes people in a way.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Like this.
Oh, Lethícia said something here. Do you think that, before that, this is a very good question from Marcel, the man with the corrector shotgun. I'll explain, Marcel.
Maybe he's correcting you right now.
No, he's not. He's like, Michael correcting shotgun.
And he's like, oh my gosh.
How is The Handmaid's Tale similar to our society, Lethícia? Do you think, do you mean that in the real world, women suffer and are treated like objects?
No, we are so happy, you know. We
it
are
doesn't
so
happen anywhere.
You know, I can go out in the street just right now, like in the middle of the night, and if I see a man, I don't like feel like afraid.
Just
I
go
just,
and high five.
I just say,
What could
hello
possibly go
man,
wrong?
can I talk to you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a really good guy.
Or you see two guys in the motorcycle. And
Oh, no problem at all.
Yeah.
If I see a man
Oh,
in
yeah.
the middle of a party and he wants, oh, do you want this drink? Oh, we have a candy here. I like it.
Yes, just go
no
and
problem at all. So,
we were being ironic, okay?
okay.
Okay, so
All the things that happen in the Handmaid's Tale are happening right now in our society. We have in the politic Senado here in Brazil.
Yeah.
We always have these religious things. So if you study the religious discourse, we can see this. We have to study all of this context to analyze what is going on here about the women. For example, if you are pregnant and you are feeling bad, the baby it's not going out, and you have to choose between the baby or the woman. They state we have a law which the baby is chosen. Just the baby, and fuck the woman.
now I'm gonna hold the anarchist in me. We're gonna have an awkward pause, okay? But it's gonna be fast. All right. The state shouldn't mend in our personal affair.
Okay.
This is a good clip, by the way.
It's just like Rachel Green, no uterus, no opinion.
Yeah, but and this is the thing. Because the things you studied, I imagine you can kind of see it coming when you are watching something. A political discourse may be hidden, in a subtext or an image or something. With me, I spent 6 months in the university studying mass manipulation. That this was one of the craziest things that I didn't imagine I would study in advertising. And the problem is we see it, you can find it anywhere, everywhere sometimes, from soft drink advertising, from political discourse and all of that. So besides all the things that are uncomfortable for a woman to read the book, what do you think is the good thing that you said that a woman can extract from that and apply in the daily basis in the real world?
I think that besides getting more like self-confident, you can like analyze things and think that you are better than this. You don't have to accept everything they just ask you to do it. Ask you to make, you have to do it because I'm your fucking boss, because I'm your husband. You don't have to. The thing is, our body is not an object. The things that is the main thing that the series want to say is that women's body are not objects. We are people, just like men. We are equal. In this case, we know about the society. They don't see us as equal. We can see about salaries. We can see about some occupations, some positions in some big companies. But about opinions, if a man says something in the middle of a meeting, and a woman says, "Oh, this is wrong," but who do you want to believe? Who would you believe? In the man, not in the woman. So this is one thing that happened.
So it will help them to not accept the minimum ethical treatment you should have in society. Something like this.
Yeah.
Okay. I still have voice, I'm happy. All right, very nice. Will you say this is essential for everybody? Because you mentioned, this is something I personally wanted to ask. Because I started watching the show and it hooked me. I like it. Even being, maybe I wasn't the primary target audience, like you said. I recommend strongly to women, but how could this help a guy read the story? Yes.
The first thing first is that the guy needs to read this book or watching the show with an open mind. Okay, this is the first step. So if you watch it and if you open your mind and notice this thing and you say, "Oh no, I don't think that women are they are not good. I have a mother." Fuck you.
You are not in her skin, so you cannot know
so
exactly.
You are not in my skin. You are not in my mind, because when we have born, we are born with some earrings, already born with this. So we have to use skirt, we have to wear skirt, we have to put some pink things in our bedroom and this kind of stuff. So the men, they just don't understand this, because they born just he's just a boy, he can do whatever he wants. And this is not the truth. You have to understand. If you read especially the book, because you can feel inside June's mind. So it's better for guys to first of all try to read the books if you read books.
Okay, so this would be my other question. Because you mentioned the 16-year gap, so it would not be a problem in terms of expectation if the person first reads the book and then watch the series. Because I don't remember who was, but it was a friend who told me, I don't like to watch the series first because I will read the book, imagine the characters from the scene, like the actors there. I like to do the opposite. First the book and then the video thing, you know.
Everybody likes to read the books before the series or before everything, but I guess that in the Handmaid's Tale you can do both.
Okay. So you, in short terms, can you say like it will help a guy to understand a new perspective of all the things that some women suffer and he has no clue, something like this?
Yes.
Okay, nice. One thing that I mentioned to you before we go live is that we have this religious discourse, political discourse, with media, with a lot of stuff, the tribalism, like instead of, for example, you have an oppression that is systemic there. It is happening for years. And then, okay, this is bad. I don't want this to happen because I'm part of the oppressed group. One thing that people do is like, okay, now the oppressed group should do a revolt and fight the oppressors. But then they just, instead of opening a dialogue and try to change the root, what's the root of this problem? What is causing that? So I guess this recommendation is interesting because if the person has a normal brain with the capacity of empathy, the person will think, well, that sounds bad. It's the golden rule, guy. First ethical rule we have. I don't want that to happen with me, so I should not want this to happen to another person. Oh, nice. We have a little time, and I wanted to talk about that book. It was kind of an accident, but it was interesting because besides the Handmaid's Tale, I asked her, guys, okay, what else do you recommend? And we were talking about transhumanism and the Aurora class. What's up with this book so far?
Okay, starters, it's I started reading like recently, not so recently because I didn't have much time, but it's a book where it's like the Hunger Games.
Okay.
People know the Hunger Games, whatever. So the society, something happened and all the things like the river and the sea are toxic nowadays.
Okay.
And if you are like poor, really poor, you can like just rent your body to old people who are rich and they pay you back. So you just get into like a surgery in your brain and you just fall asleep, and the old person will use your body to do everything they want.
For 3 months?
For 3 months, maybe 6, it depends. But there are rules, okay? The important thing, there are rules.
Of course, like, imagine, I would do a face tattoo. And
no, they cannot change your body, you
okay.
know? But
can they use drugs?
No.
Because in a way would, okay.
They cannot use drugs, they cannot...
they cannot do permanent changes in a way?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
That's interesting.
They can get hurt, but not so much. Just like shortcut, it's okay for them.
No, because I imagine like the old man gets the body of a fit person and says, I'm going to be an MMA fighter.
No, they
and then the guy gets all screwed up and, okay, I don't want this body anymore. Like, what the hell did you do?
They cannot even like practice some dangerous sports, for example.
Okay.
They cannot. They have this contract which they can sign up, and they cannot do this to your body. Just, I think, normal things. I was imagining like just getting to like a teenage body and just walking on the street. I think it's gonna be like just boring, but I think there's more. I have to read.
Yeah, but the interesting thing, I recently, like from 2 years up to now, I got this wow epiphany about the self being an illusion, and that's a topic for another podcast. I will not go there today. I promise. Just a little bit. And in this case, it's like having two selves inside of a person, but one is dormant. What if, I haven't read the book, what if something goes wrong there, that you have two selves at the same time coexisting? and then it's like the movie Split, you know, that you have.
This is one thing that I have been thinking while reading this book, because the main character, she said that she feel everything.
Oh.
She can feel. She just cannot like control her body.
Oh, that's terrible.
But she doesn't listen, she doesn't see, but she can feel.
It's like being in a coma, in a way of aware coma.
Yeah, just like this.
Oh, that's very interesting. Starters. Okay.
Starters.
All right. You mentioned something about the Handmaid's Tale and your final thesis, right?
Your final
thesis at the university. Like, how was the experience?
Traumatic.
Okay.
But good, because while I'm writing that, we study a lot about the religion discourse, and one thing that when we start reading and we are just, oh my god, I think I don't believe in God anymore.
Wow,
and
you got just shock.
Yeah, we start talking and debating. Me and my friend, we start doing this, and we just made a lot of we had some rehearsals in my house, and we start talking and debating. Oh, I don't agree with this, and sometimes the group just fell apart. So that's why we have some traumas about this.
Oh, but this is something. I don't know if you have this group of friends that absolutely everything you guys do is the same, like you have everything common. It gets annoying because it just becomes a kind of a reinforcing bubble, you know.
Yeah.
But there must be something that you are maybe even opposite. Of course, nothing unethical, but because then you break this bubble a little and you can see with another perspective, you know.
Yeah, and one thing that I really enjoy about talking to Eric and Carol is that we just like sometimes we just sit down and start debating about things, random things. For example, the special things that we talk about is about feminism. I know that sometimes it's wrong talking about feminism with a guy, but I try to help him, and he helped me about being an LGBT person, you know, how to identify myself, and he helped me a lot about things that are good, things that are bad about the community. So we talk, we debate. It's not like something that I say, oh, I hate you after the debate.
Yeah.
We always, like, he explains to me and I understand him, and then he understands me. And this is one thing that I talk to him, and I talk especially with my fiance about appearance, physically, you know, because when you are like a LGBT person, you try to fit in some places, like, oh, I have to look like a boy, or I have to look like a girl. But when you read Butler, you see that just kind of gender, its construct is built by the society. So my hair here, pink, but it could be blue, but it doesn't mean that I'm a boy or a girl, you know? So it's one thing that I was talking to my fiancée, and she said, oh, why don't you use like makeup? And I said, because I'm lesbian. She said, no, you have to, you can't do it. And I said, oh, I think I want. So I started trying this. This is why I thank her so much. I thank to Eric, I thank all my friends.
One thing that happens a lot, even in philosophy classes, sometimes I would hear something like this, you know. That's why when we're studying group, society, conflict, I highly recommend two things. First, if it's a debate, always assume that you may be wrong. It's liberating. It's amazing because you don't have the ego thing like, oh my god, if the person refutes me or debunks me, I'm gonna look like a fool. No, you want to learn, but it has to be mutual. Otherwise, it would be just like somebody trying to indoctrinate you. You have to believe this.
Yeah.
So this is to start. The second is, if possible, do a multi-analysis. For example, you can go to sociology, to anthropology, to biology, to psychology. You can use a lot of areas and fit together and say, oh, okay, now it makes sense. the thing you described to me about, oh, should I wear makeup or not? And some people, that's why don't do these things on Facebook unless you want to spend hours there talking to people that barely know you, because this happens a lot. People could say, oh, just don't give a damn about what others think about you. This is shallow, because being as social creatures as we are, to feel part of a community, accepted by a group, gives this harmony for us. We need this, otherwise we would live alone in caves, you know. So it's not that the opinions of others don't matter. They can highly impact how we deal, how we do business, how we function in society. The things that it's a deeper problem, and that's why I like when somebody can show me fiction that can initiate this conversation. How can we change something? How can I change the way the group think in a way that doesn't necessarily can harm me just for not fitting perfectly to this or that, you know? In this case, you imagine the book can help?
Yeah, it helped me a lot, and the book helped me like to discover me like just a real woman, you know.
That's beautiful.
And one thing that happened to me like last year is that we're talking about gifts in the Women's Day, and someone says that, oh, I think Lethícia doesn't want to get a gift for the Women's Day.
I'll
because
give you a pack of cigarettes and books.
Because she's lesbian. I say, oh, but I'm still a woman. I'm not like a transgender, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like people confuse the gender with the sexuality. So we have this kind of difference in the society. They are not like prepared to do this, and we have to do this step by step. Like this book, it's a really good first step, you know. If you read this, you can notice and you can understand and learn from that.
Nice, thank you so much, Lethícia.
You're welcome.
I was very worried, now I can say, because we are in the last moments of this episode. I said, oh my god, my voice is not very well today, what can I do? And you were amazing, because you could really help me here. Before we wrap this up, final messages to our listeners.
Okay, final message. So this is also an open thing, but I can say that if you guys want to read all of this book, I just recommend just the Handmaid's Tale or the Testaments. The starters I cannot recommend to you right now because I haven't finished. But when I finish, I can go back and tell Mike to recommend to you guys. So
or we could have an episode about that.
Okay, we can have it if you want. I'm watching Westworld, which Mauricio recommended me, so I really enjoy it, and we can talk about it if you want.
Amazing. An episode about transhumanism and the future. I guess I would love that. Thank you so much, guys. I promise I will take care of my throat, so next time you listen to me, I will not sound like a derby teacher.
Regina Roca.
Yeah, like that. Don't forget, send a comment, like the video, subscribe. We are also on Spotify, okay? And my name is not Kevin Bacon, okay? It's Mike. See you next week on Talking Times. Bye.